Call to order. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we go to roll call?
Chairman
Pankowski.
Pankowski.
Present.
So let's do this. Commissioner Pankowski,
Present.
Commissioner Wells,
Here.
Commissioner Martin,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer,
Here.
Commissioner Sterrett, noted as absent. Verification of agenda posting. The agenda for the meeting of the Airport Advisory Commission of the City of Hollister on May 26, 2021 was posted at Hollister City Hall on May 21st, 2021 at 10 a.m. per Government Code Section 54954.2.
Somebody wanna make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the Airport Advisory Commission meeting of April 28th, 2021.
I'll second that.
Moving on to public
Okay.
input.
No, all in favor?
All
Oh,
in
sorry.
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
For public input, we have no attendees online and no one in the chambers.
Okay. Okay.
We'll move along to reports then.
Reports.
First one's Fuel Island.
Okay, on the Fuel Island, we received word that there was a minor repair that needed to be made. We got the permit for the minor repair. EcoCheck came and started work on Monday, and they worked at the Fuel Islands on Monday through Tuesday, and they left this morning. They indicated that it was a piping correction and that it was air that was being released. It wasn't any fluid or any fuel that was being dispersed. It was air, but it needed to be corrected. It was corrected. They tested our system and our tanks mid-morning and it passed. So at this point, our underground fuel tanks are looking operational. Yeah.
Great. Good news.
Item number 2, fireworks. Very, very fast. We're not going to be having a firework display at the Hollister Airport this year or anywhere in the city. We're not having a formal firework display this year.
And do we know the reason why? Is it due to fire or?
No, it's
or
kind of the
cost?
same reason as the rally. It's with the state opening supposedly June 15th. It's really difficult because we don't know if that's truly going to happen and trying to plan it. And then if we have to shut back down, it's just, it's too many headaches. So it just was, we felt that it was best to just postpone it for 1 year and just do a better job next year.
Item number 3. I think everyone received a photo of, this is the first, it's called a Firehawk helicopter that CAL FIRE is purchasing 9 of them. This is the first one, which is for the city of Nelis.
Neely?
Okay, just outside of Chico.
Fred probably doesn't have a copy of it, but
I will get one to him. We'll get you one of these, Fred. Oh, where's the camera? We'll get you one of these, Fred. But I know that when we were discussing our negotiations with CAL FIRE at our last meeting, there was some discussion specifically about the helicopter and where the helicopter would be located. The negotiations with CAL FIRE for the lease are continuing. At this point, they all know that we have some concerns about where they would place a helicopter pad. And they were just showing as an example that this particular Firehawk, what they've done is they're talking about doing the cement pad and then putting maybe river rock around it, because it's something that would be easy to maintain, easy to spray for weeds, but also too big to get blown around. And CAL FIRE is making a commitment for us and with us to work on these things. And as these sites become available and active, it might even be something that we might even want to go look at or have them film and get back to us, so that we have a pretty good idea on what we believe that we should be expecting and how to prepare for that.
Yeah, the pad being located by the fire or fuel trucks, it's not so much the pad itself, it's the rotor wash that's going to be blowing everything that's on the ramp towards the hangars, on top of the planes, just everywhere. And these things full of fire retardant or whatever it is they are going to be using probably max power to take off, which means the rotor wash is going to be pretty severe. And you're just going to be dusting every plane that's on the ramp every single time it takes off. So that would be the concern I would have if I had an airplane that was on a tie down out on the ramp, and this helicopter during the summertime came in 15 times a day. I mean, that thing would have an inch of dirt on it after a week. So that would be my only concern on the placement is that and the actual proximity to the runway.
And just because I don't think I mentioned it earlier, we did talk to them about, had there been a plan originally to place the helicopter pad farther south, but it can't because that's in the runway protection zone. So it can't go there. So the other thing that CAL FIRE has discussed is actually taxiing out to the runway and embarking from that point. Now, I recognize that there would still, I think, be some propeller action to get there. But that's one of the things that CAL FIRE has mentioned to us. And I don't think we'll know for sure what we're looking at until we get started on our fire season. But we don't have a date when we're expecting, we don't have a specific date when we're expecting our Firehawk at this point.
Okay, because the tankers are out there and the spotter.
right.
Yeah. And that's the regular crew that shows
Yeah.
up. So the CAL FIRE fire season has begun. The spotter, the little Bronco, and the other two larger planes, they are already out there and they have already been called into service.
Okay.
So the helicopter will be showing up before the pad does.
No, it should not be it should not be showing up before the pad does.
Okay.
But CAL FIRE wants to hurry and erect the pad because they want to bring in the helicopter.
Right.
Yeah.
Where is the closest CAL FIRE helipad to us that we could?
It's down the way on 25, isn't it? About
Bear
halfway to the
Valley?
Pinnacles.
Bear Valley?
Bear Valley. In
Yeah.
fact, they had that helicopter out yesterday, and they were hovering and then going to one end of the runway and then hovering. But I understand that they were doing, I think, engine work on that one. But that one is located on Highway 25 on your way to the
And it
Pinnacles.
doesn't really impact an airport per se, because it's a fixed
Yeah, well, and it's
fixed station.
out. It's not.
I was just curious as what other airport might have a heliport like this that CAL FIRE uses that we could.
ask about. Let me get back to you on that.
Okay.
Well, they turned San Martin into one giant heliport when there's a major fire. I mean, they contract helicopters, everybody, they move in and take over the entire airport. So I don't know. That's the relief. That's where all the helicopters go during fire season when we have a big one. in
Right.
San Martin.
And sometimes there's more than one. You
Oh,
know,
no, there's,
4 or 5.
there's a dozen of them out there.
Right.
Mhm.
And they take over at Santa Clara County. So
So you're asking about another CAL FIRE fire station located in like a GA airport.
Just so we can ask some questions about from the airport. Have they had any issues and questions we could ask for this
Yeah.
one? Maybe.
And at this point, again, I'll get clear direction on where this one is, but I don't know how far they are at getting their Firehawks out, but they should have some helicopters out. And that would probably still answer your question, yes?
Okay. That'd be great.
Okay.
I have a comment on that. Anybody hear me?
yeah,
Fred.
Yeah, if CAL FIRE ever moved over to the west side, all these problems would go away. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. You follow me? Because they have, the plans are all laid out for moving over to the other side, but if it ever happens, if Governor Newsom ever realizes this airport is important for firefighting. Anyway, just my comment.
Noted, Commissioner Meyer.
What's that?
So that is noted.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The next item is the displaced threshold update. And I was able to get some information on that. It appears that for now that we will be able to operate our fire season this year the way that we had operated it in the previous year. Because if the FAA raises any concerns or questions about continuing, we can point to the fact that last year when they heard CAL FIRE's concerns, they allowed CAL FIRE to operate as they historically had. And we don't have a decision from the FAA on the displaced threshold, but during an active fire season, I'm not sure that there is, I'm not sure that that's the time to make a change. So so that's the update on the displaced threshold. But did you have questions on that?
I did not.
I do not.
Okay. Oh. Oh, gosh. And the next item was the budget. And we distributed some budget reports at the last meeting. Were there any specific items of concern that we wanted to talk to about this? Or do we just want to set up maybe a precedent of every 3 months of having the budget report added to the agenda packet for discussion?
I missed it last week. So.
I think Fred wanted a line item. Did you want a line item report, Fred?
Yeah, I have a few comments I'd like to make on the revenue.
On the revenue? Okay.
Yeah, on the first page, just interesting. If you note, the largest single income source of revenue is airport T hangars. And they've always, the T hangars always really carry the airport in the past. And also, if you add to that the aircraft possessory interest tax plus the tie down, that's a big chunk of money that the airport gets from just the aircraft renters. And I know in the past, there's been some talk about we need more executive hangars versus T hangars. I don't agree with that at all, because the hangar I'm in is about 50 years old. It's been paid for about 30 years. And there's hardly no maintenance on it at all. So it's really a good investment for the airport, as T hangars. Just my humble opinion. Any other comments?
It's true. The T hangars are a very good source of income for the Hollister Airport. They support a lot of activity there. That's true. And it's also true that the airport is 110 years old, and remarkably, these hangars are still serviceable. So I hear what you're saying.
Well, we were the very first people to move into those T hangars, the newer old ones, back in 1977, I think, something like that. And aside from the doors, they're a pretty good hangar. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If we could build more, that'd be it'd be good income for the airport.
How many do you have on a wait list for a T hanger?
We have, I want to say 3 people, but we have different waiting lists because we have we have 2 executive hangars out in the northwest, the new hangar,
Yeah,
which are 20 years old, the new ones.
Yeah.
So we have a couple there. We have a couple Keenan hangars that the end units, and they have more room, so they go for a little bit more. And we actually have some large hangars that came back to the city, like the Jerry Gabe hangar, that has a number of different inhabitants.
Yeah.
They share space in there. They use part of a space there. So
Yeah, that brings up a question I have. The hangar that's being built for Sal Rubino, is that rent from in the budget now, or do you know what it is offhand?
actually, the rent for Sal Rubino's hangar, and I don't have it with me, but we do have it. He's paying the ground lease. So right now he's paying a little over $1,500 a month, but that's going up as soon as he finals. And that ground lease will be subjected, as all of our tenants, they're going to pay all the same CPI. Everyone gets to share that pain, or and he's subject to that just as anyone else.
How long is his ground lease for?
His ground lease the original ground lease is for, I want to say 30 years, but he has 2 5-year options. It's a 40-year ground lease. And he's into it. He has about 38 years remaining.
And what was your comment on it's for use for other people, the hangar? I didn't follow that.
I was talking about the hangars we have, like the Gabe hangar.
Oh, okay.
Where there's a number of inhabitants that share that space.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
When a large hangar like the Weatherly is rented, who is it rented to? Is it to a group and they decide who inhibits?
The Weatherly building is separated into a number of different areas, and each person has their own lease in that hangar for that specific area.
Okay.
And that's for below it light sport or ultralight aircraft, or
is it a mix?
I think it's mostly experimental, or
light sport, experimental.
I think so.
Ultralight.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
So if, would the airport be interested in building more hangars, and then where? T hangars, or where would they build them?
Well, I think that timing is everything. And right now we have a concern with the back part of our airport. We have some failing concrete there on some taxiways over by the new hangars, the old new hangars.
Yeah.
And we're looking for financing to address that issue. And we know through the FAA that we have a plan for refurbishing those taxiways and all of that stuff in the next couple of years. Next year We do the airport layout plan with narrative again. We update that because you have to update that and you have to have an active one to continue to get funding from the FAA. Master plans are optional, but you have to have an airport layout plan at this point if you want to secure federal funding. So,
Well, I mean, the airport could always enter into an agreement like the Keenan hangars where, you know, let the developer build them and then rent them for X amount of years and then they revert back to the city
mhm.
and then you guys own them outright. You know, that keeps the cost of having to build them out of your pocket,
Mhm.
you know, out of the city's budget,
Mhm.
and you still get the end result. Although it might be 5, 10 years, 20 years down the line,
Mhm.
you still get it, but that's kind of a future planning thing.
Mhm.
Because I know Keenan had what, 20 years on those?
20 or 30.
It's 20 or 30, yeah.
Mhm. True.
So,
I'm thinking that when Reed Hillview goes away, I know we have a few more years, there's a lot of people that are going to be looking
Shouldn't
for hangars.
yeah, they're pretty silly to do that because it was written in the original agreement that if Reed Hillview is ever used for anything but an airport, it reverts back to the trust that it came from. So no developer gets to build on it. It's just
Wow.
going to sit there vacant.
Mhm.
Somebody should have done their homework a little bit better.
Sounds like it. So it may be years and years before.
It's going to be a long time before that thing. Yeah. So I don't know why they'd want to get rid of it because it's such a good feeder airport. Why I learned to fly.
The only question I have on the budget is under in the expense for personnel. I just wondered how many full-time and how many temporary staff?
Currently,
Uh-huh.
we have myself, 2 maintenance staff full-time, 2 office personnel, a support services assistant and an administrative assistant. And then we have a person that comes in 1 day a week just to help us mow because that's a never-ending task. So that's a total of 5 full-time people and 1 part-time person. And I don't know.
Do you guys get overflow for projects like from Public Works or
Sometimes we
do you
do.
use that kind of as a labor pool,
Well,
if you will?
it depending on the skill set, and our guys have great skill sets. So as an example, the Welcome to Hollister sign. The airport staff contributed on that, and then when it was damaged, they're going to be repairing that. We're still getting the supplies to finish that up.
Right.
But so occasionally, but having said that, when we need to like trim the foliage in front of Skyline, they loan us staff. So it's a reciprocal relationship. Mind you, again, our staff has a very good skill set in a variety of disciplines, but the city and the public works and the airport share staff, I think, pretty well.
No problems with the skill set or the quality of work being done at all.
Thank you.
Nope. I didn't have any other questions on the budget.
Can I get a copy of that from you?
I suppose. Yes,
you.
absolutely. My apologies.
That's okay.
I have one question on the budget if we're going to be leaving it. I don't know if you know this, but the reserve fund, the matching funds, I know it's in the report, but do you know what it is offhand, Cheryl? What matching funds we have available?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll have to root through it and figure it out. Okay.
I'll work with finance.
Yeah, maybe you can put it on the agenda for next time, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
You're good. It's right here on your screen. Use the mouse.
Any other questions on the budget?
I'd like to make a comment on the budget. Cheryl, I think you did a great job of the way you presented this. It's summarized real nice. I've never seen it done this way. It's really relatively easy to figure out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Item F is the Amazon airport use.
So this should be fairly quick and easy. So in talking to the developers, Panattoni for Amazon, is that when they looked at our site, the location of the airport was a benefit, but it was no part of their decision to move at that current location, which actually makes sense because if they were wanting to use the airport, my feeling would they would have made a deal for the other side of the road where they would back up to the fence and then use the through the fence agreement. So as of right now, what I have been told, they have no intent to use the airport except for maybe like a specialty item that maybe needs to be flown in, but that they don't see that being a very regular occurrence or even at all occurrence. But so.
Well, the only thing with them using it at all is they need to know where they can go on the ramp with their vans, who can get access the beyond the gate and whatnot, and what kind of person is actually going out there,
Right. So like I said, I mean, there was no intent right now to use the airport, but I mean, it might be something.
I just have a strange, sneaky suspicion that they're going to use it a lot more than a special occasion.
Right. But like I say, I mean, I would think that if they were, they would have gone on the other side of the road. Yeah, no, the main reason I like that is because that industrial area is ready to go where they had issues in Gilroy and Morgan Hill to be able to complete the project in the time that they needed it to be done. Which is, I mean, I think every time I go by it, it doubles in size, it seems like. Their intent is to be open by September. So they could not get that guarantee in Gilroy or in Morgan Hill. So that's why they picked that. That was the main reason they picked that location is because it was ready to go.
And there would probably have to be an agreement with the airport before they could start going on the ramp.
Yeah.
And so
no, we mean, like I said, if they ever do intend to use it, then we would be going through a more intense conversation with them.
okay.
No, it's quick and easy, like you said.
Item G is maintenance items. And I have some maintenance items that our staff has been working on that I wanted to share with you. And then I wanted to collect ideas if there's something that you felt needed attention, that this would be a good place to maybe bring that up. So would it be all right if I went first, or do you want to go ahead and get started? Maybe if I tell you where we are and then you could tell me where we need to go from here. Or...
Sure. Can we talk about things from our end that we'd like to get done, or does that have to be on new business for the next meeting?
No, we can talk about it right now because we're talking about maintenance items. So
Why don't you go first?
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Martin. I just wanted to share that our staff has been clearing the foliage in front of 90 Sky Lane, that building, so that we can get a address identifier up there along with a 704 placard, which would indicate what type of chemicals may be in that building that may be in use or in play to a certain amount. We're going to trim the trees on the north side of the lawn, reaching out from Sabrisas towards like the freeway so that we'll be able to put some more tables under there. We had some under there and then we took them off to do some work on the lawn. And now we want to go ahead and place them back because they seem to be popular with the public when they come out. We're still pursuing COVID methodology where we can. And to that point, in our public restrooms, we've taken out the little towelettes and we've done the hands-free dispensers, and we're going that way with the soap dispensers as well. We got some COVID funds, and so we're trying to apply that back to the restroom for disinfection and creating a hands-free environment there. Our mower is down, so we know that we have. We're waiting for parts. We're expecting them next week. We know that area on the highway side of 1331, that we know that's overgrown and we need to take care of that. We're having some difficulty spraying because it's been so windy that we have to worry about overspray and
Drifting.
off spray. Yeah. So all the that has to be done in the morning at this point. We've had some electrical repairs that we've done, and this is that skill set that I was talking to you about earlier. We were having an issue with our beacon not being on all the time, and they needed to replace a photocell and do some work, but that's operational again. And
There was some mention of street sweepers at the last meeting.
yes, there was. And yes, there was. And we're hoping to get the sweeper again, not this week, but next week. We have to share that. We have to share that piece of equipment with the rest of the city, so we don't always get it as often as we like. I know that Commissioner Martin had talked about a sweeper that was pulled behind a pickup.
Or in front of, it was like in front of a tractor, or
Okay.
it was a brush style
'Cause I
sweeper. I don't know
couldn't-
what happened to it, but that's what they used back in the day.
I couldn't find anything.
They probably got sold off or you know,
Okay.
written off the
Okay.
books or whatever, but it was a long time ago.
But absolutely, there's a need there, and we're aware of that, and we're going to work on that.
I always think you only need a sweeper out there about once a month. Although in front of my hangar, it's mostly gravel.
Oh. Well, I know that there's a couple places on the airport where debris kind of collects. Correct.
Fred's hangar.
Oh, Fred. So I know that we had talked about trying to get like an industrial shop vac, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily going to meet the need either. We can try, but we can try to get by there. I'll make a note to look up your hangar location.
He's right by the forestry, second row in. Right, Fred?
Yeah. Oh, no, it just needs to be repaved like a lot of other areas. It's no big deal. It's not that bad.
Okay. Well, thank you though for pointing that out, because we have talked about a sweeper, but at this point we were hoping to maybe do something if the yard was able to get a sweeper, but they were not able to get a sweeper. So that they're having to share their existing sweeper with us, which that's where I was talking about how we trade resources. That's an example of that, because the street sweeper operator is actually the guy that brings it in and does that work for us.
That seems reasonable. I did notice all the nice new trash cans. They're very
Yeah.
nice and not blowing around or anything. They're pretty stable.
They
It
are.
looks good.
They are. So I think we're going to go ahead and order probably 4 more, put one over near the memorial. We don't want it like in the middle of the memorial, clearly, but we want it someplace so that people can enjoy their meals there and for it still to remain tidy, and then put some out around the lawn area so that people, would be welcome to enjoy that. And then we're going to be pursuing our pest control. We did our first seeding in February, and it comes again in March, excuse me, it comes again in June, because they hibernate and then they get up and be squirrels. And then you want to try to catch them before it goes too far. So that's where we are on maintenance items.
I have a question.
Yes.
The west gate was worked on recently.
Yes,
It's really slow.
it's really slow. Okay. We actually got all 3 of the gates refurbished. And part of the reason for that is they updated the heads on those so that we can move to a hands-free environment on that as well. Because we will be able to put like clings on your vehicle, and then you could just drive through and you won't need to remember your remote. Or we can get some more, we're wanting to get some more key fobs anyway, but as the batteries go dead, you end up having to place those against the heads. So we've updated the heads to help us with that. And it's something that actually, due to the budget, we're probably not going to be able to get into until July, but it can do a lot. It can record who comes in, when they leave. You can record delivery vehicles. You can have all of that information available to you, which helps you make some maybe better or more informed decisions down the road on things like security gates and that type of thing.
Where do you get the batteries for the little remotes?
We have a few in the airport office, but that's one of the reasons that we're thinking about trying to switch to window clings, is because it's so much more inexpensive and it's easier to do. You don't have to, let's say you have 2 vehicles, just as an example. You can get one, but you can purchase another one for practically nothing to put. And so either one of your vehicles would have it. And then you don't have that on your keychain. You still have access 24 hours a day. And it's intended to be a 24-hour day program. And now if the power goes off, the gates used to lock. And now they still close, but based on the update, if you're a member of the airport community there's a way to help open those gates even when the power goes off, if we lost power in an emergency.
I can email you the battery part number for the key fob. I have that part number. You can buy it on Google.
Oh, that would be
The
great.
battery?
Yeah, I think it's a 12-volt battery. So it's kind of like a little flashlight battery. It's small. You know?
It is
Yeah.
small.
So I had to replace one of mine already.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
I can bring the part number to the next meeting.
Well, Amazon is right there.
Do we have any other comments for maintenance?
No.
Should we move on to old business? Line number 8.
Sure. I don't have old business. I think we're very current.
We had talked about a possible fly-in.
We had.
So maybe we could just put that back on I know,
Yeah.
We've got to wait until the COVID restrictions and everything opens up,
Mhm.
but it would be nice to try to plan something this year if we could,
That would be nice.
right?
Yes.
Even an open house.
Okay.
Not an air show.
Not an air show.
No, nobody said
Open
anything
house,
about an air
open
show.
house.
Nobody said anything.
A fly-in.
Yeah, a fly-in. I do have an item I'd like to add for new business, though.
Let's move on to new business then.
Okay, thank you. You may have noticed that when you come to the airport, we have some newly erected airport signs as you enter the area. And The intent when those were installed was to have some advertising on them to allow some businesses to put, not a plaque, but kind of a plaque, to hang on there. And based on the design, it would be like 4 spaces on each side of the 2
Vertical
Stabilized.
spaces.
yes, thank you. Yes. And the question becomes a couple things. One is the cost of that. Who would bear the cost of that? How much interest do we have in that? And is it something that we would want to do where we would have where it would be 4 people advertising and they would be on each side coming into the airport? Or if we wanted to give more people an opportunity and have 8 different businesses? And if we had a number of people interested, how we would decide who would be on, who would make it onto the sign, and how long they might pay to be there, and what that term would be. And it seems that here at the Airport Advisory Commission that this might be a great place to hash that out, work that out, maybe talk about some ideas and come back and discuss those. And does that sound like something that the Airport Advisory Commission is interested in taking on?
Sure. I mean,
Sure. We need to see that there's interest.
We do need to
Right.
see if there's interest. And once we've determined interest, then we can determine
Is this going to
selection.
be aside from any other signs out at the airport that states what
Yeah.
businesses are in the at the
Okay.
airport, or?
Yes, it would be in addition. Actually, there's a business directory already in when you first enter the airport, and then the road goes to the right, like you were going to the Elks. There's a blue and white sign right there, and it's about that interesting. So we are wanting to develop a new directory to place there, and in doing so, we would be borrowing services from the Public Works Department to be able to do that. There's someone over there that's very skilled to place a directory, so that this would not be a directory. This would actually be advertisement, because we want everyone to be on the directory
Yeah,
as communities at the airport. Anyone who wants to be on the directory should be able to be there. However, on the sign, the advertising, not a directory, it would be advertising at that point. That might be different.
we should get a jumbotron like San Jose International. You know, they have that stuff outside the terminal. It's very sharp. No? Don't think
Sure.
you could afford it.
We would have to really think about what type of advertising we would want at an airport. You know, I mean, it would have to be open to, I assume, anyone who wanted to advertise, or could we?
Probably. I mean, obviously, you're going to be talking about people that are at the airport community. And I don't know, just as an example, do you want to place advertisement there for people who wouldn't ordinarily come to the airport otherwise? And when I say that, I'm talking about like Sabresus or Skydive, or maybe the fixed base operator, because that's where people go to fly, maybe soaring. I mean, if you were looking for activities that just might be, that people might be looking for on their phones to get to, you might want to consider that. Or you might want to go the other way, and you might want to say, let's look at the airport businesses that bring people to the airport, like Ernie's business, Vintage Wheels, and look at giving them an opportunity, and obviously for a price, because we would be wanting to recover some of the cost of the sign up to do
Right.
that.
I mean, I'm thinking like the EA chapter or anything that's related to the airport would be
Anything, yes.
better than having, you know, a bar or something.
Yeah, the advertisement would be for the airport, not for
Well, there's not a bar at the
the
airport.
town.
No, but I'm talking about
I
if
said,
the
yeah.
advertising was open to
Maybe.
anyone
Yeah. no,
Yeah.
okay.
We wouldn't
Right.
really want that.
No, I
Right.
think we want to keep the advertisement for the airport.
Mhm, mhm.
Aviation related, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Except for Sabritas, because we eat that.
Aviators have to eat.
Does anybody else have new business?
Yeah, I have a comment. We used to have the meeting at 7 o'clock, which gave people that work more time to get here or eat supper, whatever. Maybe we had to put it up to a vote. If people want to move it to 7 o'clock, I could carry it away, but we had to put it on to make a vote on it if everybody agrees. 7 o'clock versus 6.
What is, move the meeting to 7?
Yeah, that's a question.
I don't have a problem with 6. I actually prefer it at 6 because I don't have to, it's 7 is right in the middle of the evening, you know, kind
I
of.
prefer 6, but I'm an early bird, so I go to bed early.
Did you want to take?
So- I guess we voted on it already. I could care less.
We can make a motion.
Want to make the motion, Fred?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we move the meeting to 7 and then,
Do we have a second?
no, say, motion denied, I guess, huh? No, that's fine. It's fine at 6 o'clock for me. I don't care. I just thought I'd bring it up. I thought maybe some of the,
For Paul and, you know, everybody else, the city employees, that's another hour later that they have to stay. You know, 2 hours actually, you know, who knows? Paul, look at him. He already looks tired. I'm teasing. I'm messing around. So,
well, it sounds like everybody likes it at 6, so just leave it alone. Don't even bring it up next meeting. That's fine.
okay. Do we have any action items?
We need items for next agenda.
Oh,
Fred had brought up the matching funds for the next meeting.
Yes, he did. Also, Commissioner Wells brought up inquiries into other CAL FIRE bases near airports or in airports.
With helipads. They probably all have them.
I'm interested to get more information about the new hangar on the west side of the airport and their ramp access.
you mean Bob Enns' hangar?
Sure.
It's 15, the big one, the 15,000 square foot one?
Yeah.
And you said on the west,
It's on the west side and between the airport and the jail. The big one, right outside the
fence.
fence.
They have an over the fence agreement, don't they? Through the fence agreement?
I don't know that they currently do. I know that the airport has something of that nature. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure they do. My brother did all the, I'm sure they do. Let's just
You
put
just,
that way.
okay,
I just want to hear more information about it.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a current agreement. I mean, the airport is a through the fence.
Yeah. Our-
One of the few airports that has that ability, but I don't know if we have a true agreement yet.
Do you have one on the Wynn property?
Nope.
I believe we do have an agreement on through the fence. This goes back, well, maybe 5, 8, 10 years ago. And Ken Lindsay was working with the commission in the city. I forget exactly where it ended up.
Correct.
I believe that it's approved through the feds with some restrictions. In fact, I know it is.
Yeah, we have the ability to have the through the fence agreement with those properties, but we don't have anybody that has an agreement in hand right now.
Okay.
What are they using that large hangar for? Does anyone know?
I think they're shopping it right now.
Yeah, I don't know that
They're just going to rent it out as an executive style hangar or like the Gabe hangar, multiple tenants, whatever, whoever wants to take it over.
Okay, so we have matching funds, as Commissioner Meyer was inquiring. We have the inquiry as to CAL FIRE locations in airports with helipads. I'll rewrite that, it'll be better. From Commissioner Wells, I have new hangar, more information request from Commissioner Pankowski. And if I can be so bold, I put down entrance signs.
And then maybe the open house and fly-in.
Perfect. Okay.
Do we have any more items for next agenda? We can move on to action items.
Do we have any?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I do see that in the next item that states that the next meeting date is on June 24th. I believe it's actually on the 23rd. It's on Wednesday.
Okay, so action item 12 is next meeting, June 23rd, 2021.
Yes.
Does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Get your gun.
Thank you.
Attaboy. We're out of here.
Hey, we'll turn off the-